Hi, this is Carl the Cobra Frutch, and you're watching Lights Out.
This is Faisal Khan for Lights Out, proudly sponsored by Spartans Law. We're here at the Afewe Boxing Club in Brixton. Delighted to be joined by Bobby Mills and Conor Edwards. Lads, good afternoon. Thank you very much for taking your time out to speak to me. How you doing?
Yeah, all good, thanks. Thanks for coming down.
Pleasure as always. Thank you very much for having me down. And Conor, you okay?
Yeah, all good, all good. Busy day at the gym. That's a good day at the gym. Yeah.
100%. Right, let's just obviously speak a bit about the Afewe Boxing Club. Just give me a bit of background information on the gym, how long it's been around, and what this gym means to you and what this gym represents.
Do you know, it's been a bit of a journey. So we actually started in 2013 running non-contact boxing in a sports hall here in the Brixton Recreation Centre. That's how Afewe started. Did that for 3.5 years, didn't have a proper ring or bags or really anything. We had to put it all up in the beginning, take it all down at the end, and then run a class in between. So it was a lot of work over the course of 3.5 years, and then we got funding to turn this space into a fully functioning boxing gym. That was in 2017, and we've been here ever since. So in that time, we've built up amateur squads. We now do professional boxing. We obviously work with a stable of pro boxers as well as recreational, so we try and serve all members of the community. So yeah, been a journey since our inception, but here we are.
Conor, the gym, what does it mean to you, and how do you get a gym to become successful as the one as yours is?
Yeah, I think this gym means a lot. I think the one word that would unite this kind of gym is community. We are here to serve the community. We're an important part of this community as well, Brixton being what it is in South London and the wider areas. We want people to come in and have that hub. Some people will go on to box, and some people will come and become part of something, and that's important to us as well. And we just want it to grow. We've got this space here, and we've done a lot of good things. Positive coaches we have down here, amazing volunteers down here as well. And we just look to grow for this area because it's so important that we're here.
Eddie Hearn was at a gym in London yesterday. It was a gym that had been closed down, but and a massive shout out to Eddie. He funded towards it to get it reopened, and he also spoke about how the local councils and MPs need to get more involved in terms of keeping boxing gyms open, because unfortunately we're at a time where we've got a lot of knife crime, a lot of gangs. There's a lot of crime in the UK. So yeah, is this something we need to focus on now, keeping local gyms open? Would you like to see more gyms open around the London area?
Do you know what? I think what boxing gyms do for young people, in terms of it's a martial art, it's a combat sport, so you've got to, it breeds discipline, it breeds focus. So the amount that can be transferred over into young people and what they can then use that for in other areas of their life, I think is key. So we're all for amateur clubs. That's how we started, a grassroots amateur gym that evolved over time, but really serving young people. So we've obviously seen the difference that makes over the course of time within those young people. And like you mentioned, there are a lot going on, especially this part of, we're Brixton, we're inner London, South London, so we need places like this really. So for me, obviously I'm going to say, the more boxing gyms the better, but there are gyms out there. It was the Lynn that you're talking about. The Lynn's one of the oldest gyms in the UK, apparently the oldest gym in the UK. So to see what happened to them over time, I'm just really happy to see they're back on their feet, or they will be back on their feet, I think late September. So it's great what Matchroom did for them. And we need to make sure that all these other gyms like the Lynn are protected, because we're non-profit organisations, we're not there to make money, we're not commercial-based gyms. We're there to serve our community. So yeah, 100%. I think we need to be looked after. We need backing, and we need to make sure that we protect places like that.
As I mentioned, Conor, unfortunately we've got a lot of knife crime. There's a lot of trouble within the youth these days. I mean, what would you like to see the local MPs, the government? What would you like to see them do more for the younger society coming through?
Yeah, I mean personally, I'd love to see boxing back in schools. I know it's a bit of a old traditional way of thinking. But we do offer contact and non-contact boxing as well. So to get boxing in schools, just kind of piggyback on what Bobby's saying, not everyone that's going to come to our gym is going to go on to box, but the skills they learn here just makes them good human beings anyway. Punctuality, hard work, knowing what it means to be part of something. So if someone comes here, becomes a world champion, it's brilliant, but you'll have people that go to boxing gyms, they'll go on and be lawyers, doctors, because they learn what hard work can get you, So for MPs, local government, I think it's important that they push kids towards boxing, especially London is geared towards more kind of football, but boxing goes hand in hand with that,
Well said. Well, you guys have got a busy schedule coming up. Obviously, Isaac's fight with Mikael Lawal for the British title on October 21st. Ollie Edwards is out in this weekend, was it next week? On the 16th. And then you got Viv Parsons heading over to Spain for a tournament. And best of luck to all of your fighters. How did you guys manage to deal with such a busy schedule in a short space of time?
Yeah, do you know what? It's a blessing. It really is a blessing to be working with talented boxers. We want to grow that stable as well. You know, we've been working together, myself and Conor, for best part probably 2 years now. So we're very hands-on. We make sure everything's scheduled and programmed, and the boxers come in obviously at staggered times and stuff like that. So we make it work, and it's just about making sure that every fighter, boxer, gets what they need. And that's why we're quite big on structure and programming. So that's really what it comes down to.
Conor, one of the fights I mentioned is Isaac's fight with Mikael Lawal. Of 100% the fight going to happen now? Are we going to get what we've been asking for the last few months?
We're preparing for it like it's going to happen, and we'll be there on October the 21st, and we'll be prepared to win those titles, whatever comes, yeah.
I mean, anything is possible in this sport, but the fight has already been rescheduled once. Now let's just, well, you know, worst case scenario, Michael pulls that again. Would you expect the British Boxing Board of Control to strip him of the title and perhaps maybe have someone else step in to fight Isaac for it? Yeah,
I don't want to put any curses out there because my team make fun out of me saying whatever I say tends to come to reality. So look, we're just going to keep it positive. We respect Lawal, respect his team. I believe he will be there on the night. That's what I'm going to put out. You know, I think this fight is obviously got rescheduled, so it's the second time now, second date we've had. He'll be there, Isaac will be there, and like Conor said, we're prepared for it.
I just want to get your thoughts on what went down over the weekend between Chris Eubank Jr. and Liam Smith. I watched an interview with Joe McNally, and he's stated in that interview he wasn't happy with Liam taking the fight, and he would have rather him wait maybe a couple of more months. You know, how important is it that you get a fighter these days listening to the coach's instructions? Because we do seem to be getting a lot of issues where after the fight, some trainers are coming out and saying we didn't want him to take the fight or he wasn't comfortable at the weight. So is it important now that, you know, we look at Liam Smith's situation and sort of use it as an example to make sure fighters are well set and prepped going into fights such as the Chris Eubank Jr. fight?
Yeah, I think what's difficult to know from the outside in is just how many factors there were going into that fight. You know, as a trainer, all you can do is get your athlete best prepared as you can. And I love that team, like Joe McNally and the Rotunda boys, what they do for boxing. I think they're fantastic coaches. And it's difficult because from the outside in, you have no idea really what's going on. You know, they would have got Liam Smith prepared for that fight as well. Especially when you've come in for a rematch where you stop the guy in the fourth round, you're going to be a little bit more comfortable. It's really difficult to say. All I can say is that obviously, in regards to boxers listening to coaches, it needs to be a conversation had between the both of you, and that's what we foster, that environment here where we have conversations with our boxers and we learn from each other, and I think that's the best environment to train in.
One big thing about boxing these days is social media influence of boxing. It's growing massively and massively bigger and bigger as time goes on. We saw what went down at the KSI Tommy Fury press conference. Now, you guys have been in this sport for a very, very long time. And we do get situations where things are said during press conferences. You know, we've seen some very heated moments. But what was your guys' thoughts on how John Fury acted throughout that press conference and what was said between Dylan Dennis and Logan Paul? I've attended a lot of press conferences and I've seen things said, I've seen things happen, but that was just on another level.
Yeah, do you know what? I mean...
We love John Fury, by the way. He's a friend of... he's a good guy.
Do you know what? It's a balance, if we're being honest, because a big part of professional boxing is about entertainment, and I think he understands that. But I'm not a fan personally of things being said that cross that line, and when that happens, it's just a bit distasteful, and I just don't necessarily agree with it. But at the same time, I get the entertainment value, I get it will bring more eyes to the fight, I get it might generate more of an income. But I think we've got to remember as well that, you know, young people are watching as well. You know, people are watching that want to get into the sport. So there's a certain etiquette I think we've got to maintain. But you're not going to change the Furies. You're not going to change John Fury. He's going to say what he wants when he wants. So it's all part of the fun for them, I think.
Before I let you go, guys, just a few predictions on a few fights that are coming up. I'll start off with Joyce and Zhilei Zhang. Joyce is the biggest fight of his career. He's got to try and avenge the defeat he had in the first fight. What goes down in the rematch, Conor?
I'm really fond of Joyce. He's obviously a local boy here, trained at Earlsfield. His coaching team, Ishmael Sadas, we look up to a lot. We take a lot of credence from them. So I really want him to win and hope he can make the changes that he needs to and applies them into his fight, because I'd love to see Joyce go on to world titles, because I think he can win them.
Canelo versus Charlo, a fight that everyone's talking about given the fact that Charlo's going up in weight and we're actually seeing one of the Charlo brothers involved in a big fight. So yeah, can he beat Canelo, or do you think that climbing up in weight is going to be too much for him?
No, I think it'd be too much for him personally. I think Canelo's settled at the weight. He's strong at the weight. I'm not sure what the other Charlo brothers. Certainly won his biggest test as well on top of that. So I think you've got to make Canelo heavy favourite in that one.
Last one, guys, before I let you go, give me 2 fights each you want to see happen, hopefully at the end of this year or perhaps the beginning of 2024. Start with you, Bobby.
Any fight I want to see.
I would like to see eventually Isaac-Chamberlain, undisputed cruiserweight championship of the world.
Good for the gym, wouldn't
At
it?
Wembley Stadium or Stamford Bridge, whatever comes first.
Why not Anfield?
Because we're in London, you know what I mean?
So?
Nah,
Anfield's the biggest stadium.
Yeah.
2 fights each, guys.
Honestly, I'd like to see Isaac in with someone like Goulamarian. I think that'd be a good fight for a world title. And we're not by any means looking beyond the next fight, but if he can look good and win, but win looking good and performance-wise, I think someone like him, Isaac's at the stage where he's been in the sport a long time, and he needs those challenges, but he also needs to keep active and keep busy, and that's what's going to improve him. The other fight, honestly, if I keep it more domestic now, I was looking forward to AJ and Dillian White. I think they've got such a good history. They were so different from where they are now to where they were in the first fight. They've grown up a lot, so I'd personally like to see that fight happen again.
Conor, 2 fights you'd like to see?
Eubank Jr. versus Golovkin. I'm a huge Golovkin fan, and I think Eubank has the best performance of his career. They're both at different stages of career. I think that's a fantastic fight, and I'll be going to that for sure. You can have that one at Anfield. And then the next fight I would choose, got to be Glamour division, you've got to go heavyweights. If I had a magic ball, I'd make Fury versus Joshua 3 times.
I think Eddie-handed like you.
Yeah.
Guys, where can we find you guys on social media, but more importantly, where can we follow the gym? Give us some social media links.
Yeah, Boxing Bobby or Afewe Brixton, so that's the name of the gym. Afewe meaning for us, for the community, that's what we're about. So yeah, we're on Instagram, which we're probably most active on, got a website as well.
And Conor Wood Boxing for myself, and also Brixton Pro Gym. Follow our journey, man, we're only going to grow.
Conor, Bobby, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for talking to Lights Out.
Thank you very much, cheers.